I have a SAnby guide coming soon, and spoiler alert, she might be more technical than people give her credit for. To get proof of that, I'm having some different combos and gathering footage. One of those is trying to get 13 specials with both double SAnby and double Astra chains. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, it isn't possible to do so. And I say this with confidence because I managed to get multiple frame-perfect inputs in a combo. And the end result is being one frame off. There's a lot of important information you have to know first to see just how insanely tight this entire thing has been. But the first thing to know is that it may look like I got it all in, but this is still one frame off. When the stun ends on an enemy, the Daze bar number only turns yellow if a hit has occurred after the stun has finished. Even if a hit connects after the number has turned to 0, it still won't turn the Daze bar numbers yellow if it's within the stun window. Sure enough, if you compare the damage numbers of a combo that does fit all hits in, I'm getting well over 140,000 damage ticks on the final dash. One that just about misses it, I'm getting 70 to 80,000 instead. Another thing to understand is how stun works in this game. When you stun an enemy, the Daze bar flashes rainbow and holds for a short period before it begins to decay. The same happens when you proc a chain attack. This is the game performing a calculation on the amount of time that is left during a stun, so we call this pause a stun recalc. If we take an enemy and see how long they're stunned normally, then compare with how long they're stunned if you proc a chain attack, the difference is very noticeable. But an important thing to know is that the game can only perform one calculation at a given time. So if your stun is still being calculated and you trigger a chain attack, then that means you'll lose out on the pause that you'd get from that chain attack. Let's look at two of my combo attempts in slow motion. On this one, I perform 3 SAnby specials and proc an Astra chain, which hits the enemy with the Daze bar having decay to 97. I performed the exact same combo here, but for some reason, Astra's chain is hitting when the Daze bar has decay to 89. That's a huge decrease in the stun meter. If we compare side by side, the difference between triggering a chain as soon as you stun versus doing it later, then it becomes clear how significant the loss in stun time is. This is why manual chain is so important for long combos. If you trigger a chain attack at the same time that you begin your stun, or within 80 frames of the stun beginning, then you're losing out on stun time. With all of this knowledge, let's go back to the combo and break it down live. As covered before, we want to maximize the stun time, so that means not proccing a chain before the stun recalc ends. It's very important to land the chain just as the bar begins to drop. This is our first frame perfect requirement. This can be done one of two ways really. The first is by opening the stun with SAnby's quick assist, then doing the 3 special casts. But we need to be ever so slightly delayed, otherwise we'll proc chain too quickly. The other, and what I found easier, is to time SAnby's quick assist to land just a few frames after another character's heavy. This is what I'm going to be doing here. I open with Chingy's EX and immediately quick assist to SAnby. Let's go frame by frame until the bar turns rainbow. Usually you can't proc anomalies off field, so we know which frame SAnby's quick assist actually lands in when we get the flash from the shock anomaly. This is about 2 frames, so 1, 2, and you can see the little cross flash there being the effect for the shock text. After that, it's specials. So 1, 2, and leading up to the 3rd special, let's go frame by frame again. The bar is still shifting numbers, so it's still too early to proc a chain. But you see that it hits 99. There's still not being a decay though, so this is still too early. It's still part of the recalc. We need at least 1 frame of decay. Sure enough, the next frame we see it goes down just a tiny bit, and the frame after that, we get the chain. Then it's Astra chain and ultimate, followed by quick assists. The usage of ultimates and quick assists should also be frame perfect, but that's not too big of an issue as the game seems to queue them. Normally we can't buffer a quick assist input as that would just cause us to change character. But as we're doing it out of Astra's chain, we can't swap out, so the input buffers for the quick assist. This means I'm just mashing for my life here and that's enough. I can go from when Astra's chain hits, then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and still not even a shadow of a quick assist prompt on the side here. Then, next frame, we go into SAnby's chain straight away. So this is just mashing, there's no timing involved. After SAnby's final chain though, we do get into the 2nd frame perfect requirement. Like quick assists, we can buffer the special, but we can't buffer the ultimate. Ultimates will interrupt the chain recovery animation, which means they'll cast long before the special does. This means it needs to be tapped once and perfectly timed. We drop to 79, and then on the next frame, we're going to get the special. You can see the dash streak appear, and that indicates the startup. Sure enough, the next frame is the ultimate. After that is just standard specials and EX casts. But as we get to the absolute final dash, we shift our focus to the HP bar now. The red bar is the damage of done and stun, and that won't reduce until the stun period ends. Go frame by frame and we can see SAnby is inside Pompeii, but no damage numbers have come up. On the next frame, the bar begins decaying, which means the stun period is officially over. And on the frame after that is when the damage lands. Just one frame earlier, if it tick on the frame that the HP bar begins to decay, then 13 specials would be possible. But alas, even with multiple frame perfect inputs, it's not enough. A perfectly executed combo with multiple points that require a level of execution down to a singular frame, only for it to not be enough. Depending on what characters you're running though, it may still be better to do a 13 special combo than the 12 special one, even if the final hit doesn't land within the stun window. SAnby gets the Thunder Smite only after doing 3 hits of her special, but the Thunder Smite damage is not particularly high. At level 11, it has a damage modifier of 359.10%, all being aftershock damage. Her special dash, Azure Flash, has a damage modifier of 319.20% as regular aftershock from the White Thunder mark, and then another 83% of regular damage. So it comes down to figuring out what's better. 12 specials and stun, but have everything get the stun damage multiplier increase? Or 12 specials and stun with the Thunder Smite not getting the stun damage multiplier increase, but add on one more special and White Thunder mark in damage for out of stun. Check it into Recalculator, and unless you're running Xingyi, it ends up being a damage increase anyways. And new enemies are coming out with much lower stun modifiers, making it even better. Since it's not possible to fit the 13th dash and stun, it's not like being frame perfect helps. So that means you can be a lot more lenient with the combo and still get the extra damage. And that about covers it. There'll be a lot more in my full SAnby guide, which I'll be dropping soon. So like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of when it's up. We couldn't hit 13 specials and stun with both double Astra and double SAnby chains, but there's a lot more optimization that can be done with SAnby. So, in the meantime, I'll leave you with a little sneak peek of a nice combo I've got going.